Couldn't be a camera.
Fritos.
Now I can borrow that other one.
Turn it upside down. Just
Sign the warranty information so not to use
It's weatherproof. Meaning,
that's so you can take it skiing.
Oh, yes. Oh, so the lens doesn't like fog up and stuff?
Well, it's like so that if it's drizzling and raining or slushing on you, and
It's not gonna run a film.
Oh, neither. Is there film
It's
in
not
here?
waterproof like you can go in the pool with it, but
it's not an underwater camera, no.
There's no film in here?
Not yet.
not yet.
gotta look good.
Thank you. Oh boy, a
Just
lot of
flush.
tissues.
There's another thing.
There's something else.
Is there?
You moved it. It's on the very bottom. That's still
Salt
salt.
Lake on my watch.
From the cell phones.
Salt Lake.
Oh wow,
So
this
is
is pretty, man.
Well, I went way.
And there.
Thank you. The kids want some. See the LCD?
Oh, cool.
Okay, turn it around so. Okay.
Another painted.
So you can stick that.
Wrap these.
Huh?
Daddy wrapped these.
Oh,
Wow.
Beautiful.
New talent, huh?
yeah.
I didn't know Daddy could rap. I'll tell you, there was just paper and tape flying all over yesterday, last night.
There's your twice cut lunch.
Genuine leather.
Bammer keg.
Memory cake.
For the camera.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice one.
What's that?
We know we're getting shot.
It's a nice one. Smells good too. Big Tootsie Roll.
With a surprise,
Yay! I love these knives. Who's this? Oh wow.
There's more, there's more. Like having a birthday, isn't it? It's graduation presents, I think all that school worth it.
The film,
Yay!
you'll need it. Take it with you tonight.
Yeah.
But you have to keep the camera on your neck at all times.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Like at the dance, you can't ever put it down or you'll never see it again.
Quicker, open it quicker.
Come on,
Come on.
you can do it.
I mean, well, never mind.
So what is
How
it?
does it work?
It's a little mini tripod.
Oh! So the, oh,
I thought it was throwing a, or
a
or
tripod,
a beating
that's
baton.
what it says. I couldn't read it.
That's cool.
Isn't that neat?
Those couldn't be spacey like,
Hit him with a coconut.
Gumby.
It's spaced. Hit him with a coconut. Ooh, what are you making? Come on, what
well,
is
it's
it?
one of those things for babies when they're born.
No.
It's a, how you say it? Yeah. Ooh. It comes with air. Thank you.
Free air inside. Now 25% more.
I'm
Rites
one of the gang
passage.
Oh,
now.
wow.
It's the new thing.
Yeah.
You started
Oh
the
yes.
others
Oh yes.
safety pin?
Oh Sam. Actually, Sam kind of started it, but I got the big one going.
Big one. Well, thank you, everybody.
You're welcome. Glad that you graduated and
Me too. Oh wait, free paper. What is this? Oh, I didn't even.
Oh my god, I tracked it. Oh my god, oh my
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the signing of the National Anthem. Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board members, Mr. Wasicki, staff, family, and friends. My name is Jenna Ashwanden. On behalf of the graduating class of 1994, I welcome you. We are about to take a big step into high school after all the little steps we have taken to get here tonight. We are very proud of our accomplishments. Without any further ado, keep your little ones with you, be as quiet as possible, and enjoy our program. Thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jessica Fry. On behalf of the Michelson 8th grade, the four of us had the distinguished honor to thank the people who have stood by our sides and helped us get to where we are tonight.
Hi, I'm Teresa Webster, and I'm very glad that I was given the opportunity to give thanks this evening on behalf of the 8th grade graduating class of 1994. There have been many wonderful people that have been helping us through our lives for the past 9 years at Michelson. I would like to thank each and every one of them. But if by chance we happen to forget anyone, please accept our apology and unspoken gratitude. I believe that gratitude and appreciation are some of life's few actions that can actually touch a heart and quite simply reward a deed of kindness and thoughtfulness. The class of '94 has plenty to be thankful for. Tonight I would like to thank all the teachers that have ever touched our lives, including the ones who are no longer with us here at Michelson, and the ever-so-tolerant subs. A special thanks to the special ed teachers who lent a helping hand to anyone who needed it.
I am Jason Hamilton, and as you already know, I am part of the sign language class. I would like to pay a tribute to a few people this evening, and I'd like to start by acknowledging Becky McNeese, who is a teacher for the handicapped kids and who originally started the signing class. Since the beginning of the school year, Becky McNeese has been voluntarily teaching 8 other students and me American Sign Language. About a month later, we were joined by Pam Osborne as a helper. Both Pam and Becky devoted much of their time to help us learn and organize the presentation of the signing of the Star-Spangled Banner you viewed here tonight. Thank you very much for giving so much of your time and not getting anything back from it. Will both of you please come up here and receive this small gift?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shane Owens. Tonight we would like to give our appreciation to the bus drivers. These people have spent their days driving us to and from school for the past 9 years. Imagine driving along these long, winding roads with a busload of kids to your back. This, I can tell you, is no easy task. So would you please join me in a warm round of applause as thanks for a job well done.
Good evening, faculty, staff, family, friends, and fellow students. I would like to thank all of the people who stayed after school and put in extra time for our sports. These coaches spent a lot of time without any pay at all. That really shows a lot for someone to put in so much time away from their families and lives to do something without getting a penny for their work. Not only do coaches have to put in the time, they also have to put up with all the arguments and jealousy that go along with sports. One person that I would really like to thank is somebody who doesn't get appreciated as much as he really should. This person is Mr. Ising. Mr. Ising has done a lot for our school, a lot more than most people think. He has been and helped in every sport-related activity that went on this year at Michelson, from basketball and volleyball to sports desserts and faculty games. We really need to recognize Mr. Ising for all that he has done for our school. Mr. Ising, would you please come up and receive this All-Around Coach of the Year plaque? Mr. Ising, thanks a lot, and we'll miss you all.
I would like to thank all the yard duties who are also some of our best friends. the lunch ladies for their continuous efforts to make us happy at our lunch period, and the custodians who are always there to be brave and do the dirty.
Recognized librarian Mrs. Kelly. In 1976, Mrs. Kelly was hired at Michelson as an aide, and in 1980, Mrs. Kelly was permanently hired as librarian and has been here ever since, helping students with their schoolwork and reminding people not to run down the halls. Mrs. Kelly has been giving up her free time in the morning to make the library available so that the students could work on their projects. She has been a wonderful helper as well as a friend. Mrs. Kelly, will you please come up forward and accept this small gift as a token of our appreciation?
I'd like to thank 3 special parents who have done more than their share. These parents have organized fundraising dinners, were in charge or organizing graduation activities, drove to countless athletic or other activities far too numerous to mention. So would Pam Peterson, Marilyn Pyle, and Sherry Ballard please come forward to accept these small gifts.
And of course, who could forget the staff and principal? With a great big thanks to Mrs. Sanders, our school secretary. She has always been there to be a friend whenever somebody wanted one. She has mended a lot of scratched knees and a lot of broken hearts. Mrs. Sanders, will you please accept these flowers from us for all your kindness? Thank you so much for all you've done for our school.
I would like to pay a tribute to our principal, Mr. Osicki, who has stayed here longer than all the previous principals. 5 years, Mr. Osicki has done everything from refereeing basketball games to disciplining people in his office, and even pulling a stunt by dressing up as Mrs. Doubtfire as encouragement for the kids to read more books. Thank you, Mr. Osicki, for being a great friend and the best principal Michelson has ever had.
Last but not least, we'd like to thank our parents. These wonderful people have taken care of us since we were born. They've stayed up half the night with us when we were sick. They've helped us with our homework and saw to it that we never went without, even though sometimes they did. Would all our parents and guardians who are in the audience tonight please stand to be recognized for the fine job you have done.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our graduation. I am Morgan Fitzpatrick, and I'm very proud to be the last salutatorian for Michelson School. Bob Dylan once wrote, "Nothing is quite so sure as change." This is especially true for growing young people. I can remember watching my friends trade cute little dresses for shorts and pants, their Barbie dolls for computers, and pigtails for actual hairstyles. The guys got taller and traded the cowboy and Indian games for baseballs and basketballs, toy guns for razors, and G.I. Joe underwear for Hanes. Most of us usually regard change as a bummer. Some of us probably like who we are, and we don't want to change just because society expects us to do so. But to a certain extent, we must follow society's rules to be more successful in life. Change comes natural to all people, even if it is not comfortable at times, or even if you don't know you're changing. Personalities, social skills, and especially fads, are susceptible to be altered or adjusted to fit this fast-paced world. Along with the kids here at Michelson, this school has changed a lot. Going from only 8 graduates in the late 1950s to almost 8 times that in 1994, I would say takes a lot of changing. My father graduated from the little school on the hill with only 2 classrooms and a couple of teachers. And basically everyone in your class was your friend, because you only had 7 others to choose from. It seemed easier back then to solve problems and just plain live your life. There were less worries about drugs, gangs, violence in homes, schools, and on the streets, and competing with the whole world for just one job. Out there in the future, there's a piece of time waiting for us to conquer and live, but it is ever changing. We won't get there without a lot of effort and a lot of change on our part, because this isn't the 1950s, and this isn't your parents' or your teacher's life, it is yours and mine. A wise man wrote, we should all be concerned about the future, because we shall have to spend the rest of our lives there. This is a challenge to all of us, to better our communities, our nation, and our world. So all of you, take that challenge and make something of yourself. Face change with an open mind and the conviction that change is a part of the commencement that we are part of this evening. Face change is a challenge rather than a bummer.
Good evening. My name is Christine Stribling, and we all are going to bring back those memories from kindergarten through 8th grade.
Hi, my name is David Christian, and I would like to reflect back on our first year of kindergarten. We were taught by Mr. Gato and Mrs. Arola. I remember walking into Michelson for the first time. The big 8th graders looked down on us. I remember playing in the play grocery store or listening to Mr. Gato play his banjo or guitar. And maybe you remember listening to those earphones that gave us our first step to learning. And now being in 8th grade, I see little kindergartners coming into our rooms to show us their things they made like we did in kindergarten. What a time. In kindergarten, we were joined by Daniel Marchand, Ethan Johnson, Charlie Amstutz, Mitch Pyle, Jared White, Jason Trulock, Morgan Fitzpatrick, Danielle Mentok, Seth Turner, Teresa Webster, Jessica Fry, Keisha Bliss, Annie Ryan, Emily Hull, Jenna Ashwanden, Cassie Franz, Katie Kelly, Autumn Lightmeyer, Beth Ashley, Jennifer Bame, Sarah Insenius, Yvonne Francis, Chandra Hollers, Emily Hall, Kyle Eltringham, Peter Cardinelli, Kelly May, and me, Dave Christian.
Good evening. My name is Cassie Franz, and I will be remembering first grade. First grade was to us being grown up. We had already learned our ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and we're moving on to bigger and better things. Our teachers that year were Miss Ziegler and Miss Root. That year was full of new things like friends and boys. I remember the crush Jessica Fry and I had on Brian O'Leary. We used to write him love letters and throw candy hearts at him. I also remember the tag games we used to play. We were proud that year because we had our own books, desks, and cubbies. That year we were joined by Josh Saul, J.J. Marsh, and Nicole Bogdanoff.
And I will be reflecting on my 2nd grade year. In 2nd grade, my teacher was Mrs. Solomon. The other teacher was Mrs. Binger. In Mrs. Solomon's class, we did a lot of artwork and learned how to count to 10 in Japanese. We were very proud of this because we could say something in a different language. This was a year we got to be monitors for the fish tank, sink, calendar, and the hermit crabs. It was so cool to be a monitor because we had responsibility and were in charge. That year we went to Mercer Caverns, which was so scary and dark. We also went to Big Trees, where the trees were so tall we couldn't even see the top. That year we were joined by Kevin McGee, Jason Pope, Tiffany Autry, and Kyle Williams.
My name is Katie Kelly, and the last year of primary grades has finally come. 3rd grade was the last year of many things. Getting to school by 8:30 and going home at 2 o'clock, getting away with things because you're little and don't know any better, and most important, being one of the little kids. In 3rd grade, our teachers were Mrs. Root and Mrs. Gordon. These 2 teachers helped prepare us for the next 4 years of being a big kid. I remember learning how to write in cursive. We took it step by step,
But somehow or another, we all seem to make little mistakes, like getting our M's and N's mixed up, crossing our L's, and forever forgetting to dot the I's. But one way or another, our teachers always seemed to understand what we meant. It also soon became a habit to raise our hands in class instead of yelling out answers. For most of us, that is. Others still have not caught on. There were the art projects, and how could you ever forget making the clay peppermint stick houses with the ever-helpful Mrs. Ballard. Another great memory was the field trip that we took to the Hershey's Chocolate Factory. We walked up and down the factory with our eyes wide open as hundreds of pounds of chocolate rolled past us. I think we all went home with armfuls of candy that day. This was a wonderful year. We learned a lot about each other, and most of all, we learned how to respect each other. Joining us in 3rd grade were Charlie Sullivan and Nathan Stone.
Hi, I'm Nicole Bogdanoff, and I'm going to reflect back to 4th grade. Our teachers were Mrs. Ferguson, Mrs. Wright, and Mrs. Nelson, who taught a 4th-5th combination. I remember when Mrs. Nelson had us memorize poems and recite them right in front of the class. We would also get points for having the cleanest group, and the group with the most points would get a prize. Mrs. Nelson would give us cookies or candy if we were good during silent reading time. Since we were in the 4th-5th combination class, we didn't really interact with the other 4th graders and would just hang out with the people in our class.
It's me again. In Mrs. Wright's and Mrs. Ferguson's classes, we had summer days, when we brought beach towels to school and would dress up like we were going to the beach. We also had Western days, when we dressed up like cowboys and cowgirls and made bread, butter, and ice cream. There were the hundreds of art projects, and who could ever forget the guessing jars, where Mrs. Wright and Mrs. Ferguson would put things in jars, and we would guess how many were there. If you won, you got a raffle ticket. There are many things you could do to win raffle tickets, and at the end of each week, we would have a raffle drawing, and you could win little prizes. Joining us in 4th grade were Tim Mello
and Rachel Olive.
Now I'm going to take you back to some great memories of 5th grade. 5th grade was the year that we moved up on with the older kids, but we're still on the bottom. We also had to adjust to the changing classes of math and reading. We all also got a little prepared for Coast Camp the next year. Our 2 teachers were Ms. Johnson and Mr. Jones. Being in Mr. Jones' class, I remember a lot of things. Many times, Kelly, Jenna, Jessica, Cassie, and I would get in fights with another girl named Heather, and we'd have to solve our problems in the music room. We would spend many hours in the room, and then we'd all come out in tears. We got in so many fights. Every time we turned in our homework or did well on a test, we could shoot a Nerf basketball in the hoop and win Mambas, which are little candies. We all took home quite a few. Chalk always seemed to get thrown at one of us, or someone got in trouble and had to sit outside on the steps. In Ms. Johnson's room, they had more parties. They had a little tally on the chalkboard and earned so many points. They always had more homework, though. One time, Tim Mello fell asleep on the desk, and Mr. Jones took a ruler and slammed it on the desk. It surely woke him up. And of course there was those crushes on the older guys. Jessica Fry and I had a crush on Brandon Coles, and we were so excited when he signed our yearbook. That year, we were joined by James Carl, Cameron Jukes, Charlene Turner, Kathleen Buchanan, Jared Rosselli, and me, Christine Stribling.
I'm going to reflect back to 6th grade. Our teachers were Mrs. Gato and Mrs. Matthews. I remember when our reading class put on the play Les Miserables. During the play, the scenery fell after I finished my lines. No one knew where I was and thought I was under the scenery. They also started a rumor that Morgan and Seth, the stage directors, were making out backstage. Who could forget at Coast Camp when Mrs. Gato would go down the halls in the girls' dorm singing to wake us up? But we lived through it. That year, we also skied with the school for the first time. Emily Hall, who was skiing Snow Valley, fell, and Peter Cardinelli ran into her tailbone.
The ski patrol had to carry her off Snow Valley on a stretcher. We'll never forget Mrs. Gato's flaws for fashion. I think we all will remember her yellow VC Tories outfit that she wore. Mrs. Matthews wasn't with us for the second half of the year. She was having her second child, a girl. Lori May was there as a substitute, and we would like to thank her. Joining us in the 6th grade were Tiny Ego and Josh Schaefer.
Seventh grade was the starting point of being mature young adults. In 7th grade, our teachers were Miss Johnson and Mr. Gazzetta. Miss J is one of those teachers that is just like a friend. You could tell her anything and she would try to help you. Mr. Gazzetta was our coach. He taught us all the math and science we could ever need to know. The 7th and 8th grade classes were very close. We did everything together and made a lot of close friends. We will be joining those friends next year in high school.
7th grade was the year we got to use lockers, which no one seemed to keep clean. We also switched classes. That was very difficult for us to do in the beginning of the year, but we caught on. One thing I remember was the volleyball team. Almost every girl joined, and we got off to a rough start. I will never forget that year. I learned a lot about friendship and attitude. That year we were joined by James Beck,
Jason Hamilton,
Matt Sweetland,
Shane Owens,
and Shaylin Bettinger.
Exciting year at Michelson. We all, well, most of us, have grown up and are learning to get along with each other in a more mature manner. Going into Bret Hart, we have lots of good memories. The girls' basketball team took a great double overtime win in the finals of the AMA basketball tournament, defeating Toyon. We had a great time in Tahoe and playing a regular season.
Our 8th grade boys did great too, even though we only won one game. Track and field was also a great success. In a classroom, we accomplished a lot too. We all learned how to argue from our congressional role playing and know more about our families as a result from Mrs. Schultz's Family History Project. Thanks to our great staff and homeroom teachers, Miss Rising and Mrs. Schultz, we had a great year.
This year we were joined by
Hillary Hosmer,
Jessie Hosmer,
Amy Day,
Heather Bowers,
Janet Adler,
Wyatt Carroll,
Juan Tomlinson,
and last but not least, Josh Livingston.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Danielle Mintock. Tonight, I have the pleasure of introducing our commencement speaker. She has been with our class a very long time. She has 4 children. One of them is graduating with us tonight. She's been a room mother, participated in softball, and is currently a bus driver here at Michelson. She was born in Stockton, California, and has lived up here in Murphys for 22 years. Besides helping us inside the classroom, she has been a friend to many of us outside the classroom. Now, will you please join me in a warm round of applause for this year's Michelson commencement speaker, Pam Peterson.
Good evening, friends, family, Michelson staff, and administrators. Welcome to the commencement ceremonies of the Michelson graduating class of 1994. I am honored to have been chosen by the graduating class to be your commencement speaker this evening, and would like to thank you all for this privilege. I have to say that public speaking is not something that comes very easily for me, but I'll take the advice of a very good friend who said, "Pam, pretend you're on the telephone, it'll be a piece of cake." I've been involved with the Vallecito Union School District since 1975, when as a senior at Bret Hart High School, I came to Michelson School twice a week to work as an aide in Jim Bigelow's class. He's still here too. In the summer of 1976, I worked through a state-funded program known as CETA as a summer school aide at Hazel Fisher. I didn't return to the Vallecito Union School District until 1984, when my daughter Cassie, who is graduating tonight, became a Michelson kindergartner. I became quickly involved in what the Michelson staff fondly refers to as parent volunteering, until 1991 when I became a substitute bus driver. In 1993, I was hired full-time as Bob the bus driver, And after 9 months of driving this year, the same kids, every day, some of them still call me Bob. He's short, I'm tall. Other than that, we could be twins. My availability to my children at school has remained since those days in 1984. And my message to you tonight as parents and guardians of these young adults is just that. Be available. This does not mean that you have to work at the school, but your availability is a link to your children as much now as it was when they started school. These are the days when our young adults here would like to think that they don't need us anymore. And to a degree, they're right. But remember to be there. Be accessible, so that if and when they do need us for advice, reassurance, or support, they can get it with the least amount of effort. If your children have to seek you out, or wait until you have time before they can need you, you've lost them. They'll find another source. In turn, you, as young adults, remember that for as long as you've been here, your family has been right there with you. They've watched you fall, they've picked you up, and they've let you try again. These are the people who will continue to be your wealth of support and inspiration throughout your lives. Don't sell them short. Use them and need them. Expect them to be there for you, and they will. I'm 37 years old with 4 children of my own, and to this day my parents mean the world to me. Their advice, love, and support could never be replaced. The 1990s continue to be trying years for our youth and adults alike. But I truly believe that a strong sense of family, the pride that we take in one another, the caring and sharing of day-to-day life is something to be cherished and nurtured forever. The bond between a family should be stronger than that of any army. Excuse me. Look towards your future with the knowledge that you belong to a very special and select group of people, whether it's your grandmother, uncle, parents, foster parents, or friends. They're your family. I would like to leave you with a poem that was given to me by my mother-in-law, who is one of the wisest women I know. I'm sure a few of you have heard it before, but hearing it every day couldn't hurt. It's called Children Learn What They Live. If children live with criticism, they learn to condemn. If children live with hostility, they learn to fight. If children live with ridicule, they learn to be shy. If children live with tolerance, they learn to be patient. If children live with encouragement, they learn confidence. If children live with praise, they learn to appreciate. If children live with fairness, they learn justice. If children live with security, they learn to have faith. If children live with approval, they learn to like themselves. And if children live with acceptance and friendship, they learn to find love in the world. I have found acceptance and friendship with you, the graduating class of 1994, and therefore have found an abundance of love that I will cherish long after you've gone. I love you all. Congratulations.
Welcome, my name is Annie Ryan.
And my name is Keisha Bliss.
Tonight we have the privilege of handing out the Special Achievement Awards. There are many types of awards that honor attendance, academics, and athletics. The students who will receive these awards have worked hard and have excelled in these areas.
The first awards that we are presenting are given to those students who have not missed a day of school in their year of 8th grade. During the year, you cannot have any independent study contracts along with not missing a day to qualify for the Perfect Attendance Award. These students had to sacrifice many commitments that interfered with the school day. The award recipients are Tawny Ego, David Christian, Daniel Marchand, and Charlie Sullivan.
The Outstanding Academic Achievement Awards that I am presenting go to all the graduates who have made honor roll every quarter since the 4th grade. These students worked hard to achieve this honor, and this hard work will pay off in the future. The plaques go to Keisha Bliss, Matt Sweetland, Ethan Johnson, Jenna Ashwanden, Morgan Fitzpatrick, Seth Turner, and Kelly May.
The next award is called the Fine Arts Award. The student receiving this award has an outstanding ability or talent in the 3 areas of writing, poetry, and drawing. We are very proud to present the Fine Arts Award to Nicole Bogdanoff.
The next award we are presenting is the Science Award. The person who will receive this award has mastered in all areas of science throughout the year. The Science Award goes to Seth Turner.
The next award is the Most Improved Student Award. The student receiving this award may have had a rocky start in the beginning of last year, but as time went on, the student improved herself and her grades. I'm honored to present the Most Improved Award to Danielle Mintock.
The final award we are presenting is the Jeff Swanson Award. Jeff was a former graduate from Michelson School and a student of Bret Harte High School. He was an outstanding athlete and had many academic achievements. In high school, he played varsity football and basketball while maintaining a 4.0 grade point average. Unfortunately, this story does not have a happy ending. Jeff was killed in a tragic automobile accident during his junior year. The Jeff Swanson Award was started not only to remember Jeff, but also to acknowledge those who have excelled in both academics and athletics. This year, I am proud to present the Jeff Swanson Award to Christine Stribling and Jana Nadler. And this is a big plaque that's staying with the school that has their name on it.
The last award that will be given is the Superintendent's Award. Jill Bray, President of the Vallecito Board of Education, will present this award. Without further ado, please welcome Mrs. Bray.
You girls did such a good job. Do you want to do this one too? Yeah. Tom Manning, Board Clerk, will explain the selection criteria for this award tonight.
The School Board of Trustees has established a perpetual scholarship award for each school, and this honor is to be limited to 1 graduating 8th grader per school. Other stipulations of the award are that the selection is to be by nomination from each 8th grade faculty member to the board. The criteria being outstanding scholarship and outstanding contribution to the student body. The award is to be presented during the graduation ceremony at each school and is to be a surprise to the recipient. It gives the Vallecito Union School District Board great pleasure to present this year's Board of Trustees 8th grade Scholarship Award to the 8th grade graduate nominated for the 1993-94 school year for Albert Michelson School.
Now I'll do the fun part. This student is cheerful and cooperative. This student is liked by both fellow students and staff. This student has been on honor roll every quarter since the 4th grade. This student has participated in basketball, volleyball, and track since the 5th grade. This student was a Michelson cheerleader. This student has held the offices of class representative and has been a class officer as well. This student is currently student body president of Michelson School and is the daughter of Steve and Lori May. This year's winner of the Superintendent's Award is Kelly May.
Our theme for graduation this year is Forever Young. As you were being seated, the background music you heard was Forever Young by Rod Stewart. I feel the words to this song hold a special meaning for all of us here tonight. Good evening. My name is Seth Turner, and I am the valedictorian for the class of 1994. As you look at the graduates seated here tonight, you will see students who began their elementary school days as kindergartners at Michelson School, and others who have joined us over the years. The friends we have made and the friendships that have developed are important ones because they have helped us grow as individuals. Our teachers at Michelson have always been willing to take extra time to make sure we understood a particular concept. Often this task was accomplished with many hours before and after school. It has been the goal of the 8th grade teachers to make sure that we all graduated. Many people would agree that the junior high years are the most difficult to teach. If you don't believe me, just ask Miss Sanders, who at times must have pulled her hair out trying to find a substitute teacher for our class. We want Mr. Ising, Mrs. Schultz, Mr. Gazetta, and Miss Johnson to know that although we haven't always been easy to teach, and you may have felt like you were talking to the walls at times, even though there were 35 students in the classroom, you definitely did your job well. You must be pleased to know that a lot of the information you gave us stuck without passing right between our ears, because here we are, graduating tonight. With all sincerity, we want to thank you for your instruction and support. We will remember you forever. My wish for the teachers at Michelson is that they will stay forever young. We are fortunate to have the guidance from our parents, grandparents, relatives, and teachers. I would like to extend a very special thank you to the parents here tonight. Your love and support has been and will continue to be important to us. We know staying forever young, especially with a high school student, won't be easy. I know the daily reinforcement by my parents to develop good study habits in my early years played an important part in me being your valedictorian this evening. My grandparents, who are in the audience tonight, set those same standards for my mother, aunts, and uncle when they were in school. My grandfather was a junior high teacher for 42 years, so what would you expect? He passed those values along to my parents and now to me. Thank you, Nona and Papa. In his song, Rod Stewart says, "For all the wisdom of a lifetime, no one can ever tell, but whatever road you choose, I'm right there with you, win or lose." I know this would be the message my grandparents and yours would want to give us this evening. To my classmates, I'd like to say, as we enter high school, let us not forget the friendships we've made when we were younger. New opportunities will arise, we will meet new friends and face new challenges. We should always have one another to count on for support. The next 4 years will be challenging, but it is not a matter of whether we want to go to school, we can't afford not to. For some of us, high school will be preparation for college, others for trade school or the job market. Graduating from high school should be an important goal for all of us. It will take hard work and perseverance. We will also need to take time out for social events, which will provide us with the relaxation we need amidst our studies. When we are troubled by the difficulty at hand, remember to look forward to our long-term goal. As the song says, may good fortune be with you, may your guiding light be strong. For even though 4 years may seem like a long time, remember, we've already made it through 9. Graduating from junior high is our first big accomplishment, and we can be proud of it. We truly live in a unique setting. Some of my fellow graduates have parents who have grown up here and graduated with my dad from high school. This is something you don't find in large communities. I think this is very special. I hope our friendships will continue through high school and beyond. Our life is full of choices. We know people who have not made wise choices. Let them serve as examples to us. We are still young enough to make good choices. We have accomplished our first major step, 8th grade graduation. As young adults, we realize our goal. Our hard work has paid off. We are now prepared to enter high school. Our class chose Forever Young as our theme song, and although we will not be forever young in body, hopefully we will remain forever young in mind and spirit. I'd like to leave you with a few verses from our theme song. They are my wishes for the graduates. And may sunshine and happiness surround you when you're far from home, and may you grow to be proud, dignified, and true, and do unto others as you'd have done to you. Be courageous and be brave. To all our family, friends, and teachers, on behalf of the graduates, I'd like to say, in our heart, you'll always be forever young. Here to present our class is Mr. Wasicki. Thank you.
Of the entire Michelson staff, I also wish to thank the parents and the families of these fine graduates for the support that they've given throughout the years, and I hope that all of you will join us for a reception immediately following this ceremony back in our eating area. I also wish to thank the entire staff of this outstanding school for their ongoing efforts throughout all the years, before this class came, and they'll be here after this class leaves. They do an outstanding job all the time, and I'd like to lead a round of applause for those staff members who are here tonight. I ordered the wind to stop at 5. I don't understand this. Mitch, didn't you send in that order? Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is the end of an era here at the Vallecito Union School District. The graduates before you comprised the final graduating class of Michelson School as a K-8 school. So I stand before you with conflicting emotions. I know that Avery Middle School, like Michelson, will be an outstanding school and the best place for our present 5th, 6th, and 7th graders. But during the past 5 years, I have come to love Michelson School. I've come to love the outstanding staff who puts in the ultimate effort every year, and of course all the students from kindergarten through 8th grade. Therefore, I am happy for our students who will go up to Avery, to that new outstanding school, but I also feel a great loss, as anyone would when people you love will no longer be close to you on a daily basis. Of course, this feeling of loss happens every year with every graduating class, and this class is no different. I truly like and enjoy being with each individual in this class, from the top students on down, and from the well-disciplined to those who have seen me most often in the office. Each one of these students has a want to do well. They worked hard to do well, and they have all grown as students and citizens throughout this year, and I'm proud of each and every one of them. Graduates, I appreciate all of your efforts, and I wish you all the greatest success in the future. With this in mind, I attest that these fine young people have all earned the privilege of graduation tonight by timely completing the prescribed course of study set down by the Vallecito Union School District. Presenting the diplomas tonight are School Board Member Liz Ritchie and School Board President Jill Bray. Also, please note that each diploma carries the California Distinguished School Seal, and with distinction at the end of a name denotes a B or better grade average throughout their 8th grade year. Finally, if you can, please hold your applause until all the graduates have been recognized, if you can. Our graduates are Peter Richard Cardinelli, Matthew Brian Sweetland with distinction.
Good boy.
Timothy Mello. Cameron Lund Jukes.
All right, Cam. Oh, I forgot to take a picture. I was having so much fun.
Wesley, I'm sorry, James Wesley Carl. Good ball. Jeremiah Joseph, J.J. Marsh.
What his name was.
Yvonne Louise Francis. Distinction. Jana Elaine Nadler. Shaylin Noel Bittinger. Victoria Buchanan. Sarah Amber Encina. Charlene Marie Turner. Tawny Marie Erlene Bernadette Kelly with distinction. David Charles Christian with distinction. A with distinction. Seth Uriah Turner with distinction. Short-term memory problems. Teresa Ann Webster with distinction. Keisha Marie Bliss with distinction. Oh, friends. With distinction. Morgan Lee Fitzpatrick with distinction. Danielle Karen Mentok with distinction. Jason Allen Hamilton with distinction. Christine Noel Stribling. Lynn Hall. For graduated class of Albert Michelson School.
Dave, if I know how to work this. There you go, yeah.
There you go.
Let's prove it here. Okay, now both of you get your moms in there.
Hurry up, Ellie! Moms?
Yeah. There you go. Who is that?
Where? Right there? That's
Yeah,
Cameron?
That's Cameron.
No way, I didn't even recognize him.
I got you. I was getting you.
How do you turn this thing on?
I don't know. Okay, do it again. Do it again.